What is up, guys? Cole here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Rival RS1 Pro Sparring Gloves. I'm going to start off with the outer shell material. It's an all leather, full grain leather material. As you can tell, it's a beautiful leather material. You can definitely tell it's full grain by the quality. Just a beautiful material altogether. It almost looks like a synthetic leather just due to the color. Other than that, the grainy material looks great, fantastic. The only flaws I've seen on the exterior or the outer shell material of the glove was the micro-injected logos. Just right by the thumb here and by the pinky over here, there's a little bit of fading or wear and tear. There's no way, in my opinion, that these could be worn out. I've only had the gloves for about 2 months. So I don't think that's enough time, and there's definitely not been enough work rate on these gloves for there to be wear and tear like that. Another possibility I thought that could have caused this issue here is these gloves are made in China, so they could have been mass-produced gloves at one point in time, which made the machining of the logos less quality. Anyways, I want to move on to the foam of the glove. I do not know what the foam material of the gloves are, but I do know it is 1.75-inch multi-layered high-density foam. Definitely high-quality foam, maybe a little bit too pillowy, and they filled in the glove a little bit too much, and the design's a little bit too big and bulky, but the high-density foam, you can definitely feel it, and it is some quality layered foam in these gloves. When you get to the hand compartment's definitely nice and broken in. Maybe a little more loose than I would prefer. I like a more firm, snug, tight-fitting puncher's glove. The only issue I had with the hand compartment in these gloves is that when I am sparring, whether these are laced up fully or lace and looped up, it almost feels like the glove is moving horizontally back and forth when you're just moving, or whether you're in full-out brawl and sparring, if that may or may not happen. Could be just all in my head, but you can definitely feel the movement of the glove, and it's not very comfortable or attractive. The grip, there is an addition of the glove. They added a grip bar in the glove, which is just a thicker, more dense bar or pipe across the hand compartment, which gives you a more snug and more a tighter grip, and gives you something to really hang on to when you do make that fist, and it is beneficial and it's really nice, and that's a bonus to this glove. I'm going to move on to ventilation of the glove. Probably the biggest flaw in the glove in my opinion, and something I was really displeased and really sad about because this is a nice sparring glove. There's absolutely no ventilation. Usually when a glove's made, there will be ventilation holes around this area or in the thumb department, or vice versa. Could be both. But ventilation is a must in my opinion, and these things just make your hands sweat like a sieve, and it's harsh. You can definitely feel it, and it's not like this leather or the interior leather is absorbing any of the sweat. It's not a very sweat resistant glove. Now the thumb compartment, I just bought some Fly Super Lace X gloves, and the thumb compartment was a little too short. And when that happened, I noticed that as you throw a punch, you're almost stubbing your thumb every time you throw a punch. But on the Rival RS1 Pro sparring gloves, the thumb compartment is nice and spacey. Like I said, the hand compartment might be a little too spacey and a little bit too loose, but it's comfortable. Might not be the safest and might not be for you. Like I said, it's not for me, but it's comfortable. As far as when, just the comfortability of the glove. One thing I did like about the thumb compartment, or the thumb of the glove, was that it's a fully attached glove, or a fully attached thumb. And to me, that's super beneficial, super comfortable. When you have a partially attached glove or thumb, it's usually like a loop connected to the outer end of the thumb, and you almost have too much play. So in my opinion, I think that you should just get an unattached thumb at that point. I want to go through the stitching on these gloves now. If you look at the stitching around the lace area, you can definitely tell that there's some fraying in the stitching around this area here, especially over in this area, and there is some loose stitching over here. The biggest flaw in the stitching, though, I want to point out, is an ergo lace strap system. I can definitely understand it's going to be difficult to do some stitching around that area, but this is where the glove, if it does fall apart, will fall apart in my opinion. Let's move on to the piping. So the piping's pretty nice, but the consistency's not there. It's a little bit thicker in some areas, and it's a little bit loose in some areas, or thinner in some areas. And that is not a big deal, but as far as aesthetic of the glove, not great. The interior material of the glove, it's supposed to be some kind of laminated material. But to me, it just feels like it's definitely not a sweat-resistant material, and it almost just feels like a cloth material, like a cotton material. Nothing fancy or special. Like I said, Rival calls it a laminated material, but it doesn't feel like anything over the top or anything special. These are lace-up gloves, as you can see or as you noticed, and they're the flat laces. It's just a preference in my opinion. Some people like the round laces. In my opinion, I do like the round laces. Some people like the flat laces. I don't think the quality of the laces really matters, because you could always relace the gloves if you wanted. There's a good look at the laces. The weight of these gloves, I got these in a 16-ounce weight, and as far as I know, these do feel like 16-ounce gloves, and they are on weight. I'll get a weight for you guys at the end of this video just to confirm the weight, whether if they are spot on or not. Like I mentioned before, these gloves are made in China. Rival is a Canadian brand, but these were manufactured in China, as you can see here. They are made in China. And like I mentioned before, that might be where the issues in the logo fraying or inconsistency is, the stitching, and then honestly an operator error as far as designing the glove for ventilation. That just wasn't there. But I mean, these gloves going through machines and being detailed like this or stitched like this, there's going to be flaws opposed to like a Cleto Reyes or a Grant custom glove where they have someone literally sitting there stitching these gloves up and making sure everything's perfect and precise, almost like a machinist would for like a tool or a die, something like that. I'm going to rate these gloves. As far as comfort, I'm going to give these gloves a 9, and the only reason I say a 9 and not a 10 is because, like I said, the gloves are super comfortable, but it's really uncomfortable when you're 6 rounds deep into sparring and your hands are just dripping sweat, and you can feel it. It's almost like you put your hand in a hot tub for too long. You know, you just have to prune up a bit. Another flaw I noticed with the comfort is, like I mentioned before, the hand compartment. It's a little bit too loose for me. Maybe it's just a little bit too pillowy for me. I'm not 100% sure. Protection of the glove. I feel like I said, the wrist protection is it's supposed to be a long cuff. Definitely is. You can see it goes about halfway down my forearm, and I definitely prefer that, and I think that is nice. When I snug up the laces, the wrist protection's there, but the hand compartment protection isn't fully there. I mean, it's there as far as the multi-layered foam on the knuckles, and the grip bar gives you some protection as far as compactness of your fist, but there is really no special protection on these gloves that keep your hand contight like a puncher's glove or a Cleto Reyes glove would. Performance of the gloves. Sparring, these are a great glove overall. I feel like they felt great. Like I said before, and I mentioned several times in this video, the ventilation was an issue as far as performance, just because it's uncomfortable. But as far as sparring goes, these are an excellent sparring glove, and I'm sure there's many people out there that would attest to that. Durability of the glove. I've only had the gloves for about 2 months. I would say they're a pretty durable glove as far as they go. The only thing I would notice is that like I said, they are fraying here in the ergo lace system, and it's almost like they engineered too much detail into the glove around the wrist area, and if it's to break apart or fall apart, it's going to be around this area here. I mean, you can just see there. You're getting a little weaker wrist. I mean, you're obviously going to tie them up, but I mean, there's too much play here in my opinion. Quality of the glove. Quality is there. I mean, as far as the high density foam, whether the stitching's fraying or not, the stitching is tight and it is holding the glove together. The glove's together still to this day. So the quality's there, but I'm going to give the quality about a 7 out of 10. These are about $160 gloves, guys, so they're in the mid-range to upper-range glove. I would say there's, in my opinion, they're a glove you'd get right before you hop into something like a Cleto Reyes, a Fly, or maybe a No Boxing, No Life glove. All upper echelon gloves. This is a high-quality glove. I'd probably say rated between the title range, ringside range, fighting range, probably comparable to a fighting sports range, which is also made by Title. Definitely worth the $160. If you're not worried about looking too flashy or fancy, then definitely a great glove to have. I wouldn't worry too much of the logos or any of the stitching. I'll keep you guys updated on these gloves as far as how the durability and how long these last. But if they fall apart, you definitely know they're gonna fall down on my list of recommended gloves. Pros of these gloves, like I said, they're a really comfortable glove. I mentioned a bunch of things I dislike about the comfortability of these gloves. But like, I mean, if you're just in the pocket or you're moving around the ring, these are a comfortable glove just to wear on your hand. Another thing is I like the fully attached thumb. That was a bonus, and that was a pro to this glove. And then the protection of these gloves. The protection, the multi-layered foam there on the knuckles is definitely going to protect your hand. Even though there's no structure implemented into the hand compartment itself to keep your hand nice and tight, it's gonna be a solid glove to protect your knuckle area, and definitely gonna give you that extra protection for your opponent or your sparring partner. Cons of the gloves, I mentioned 3 cons of the gloves, and that's really all I have is that the logos, the micro-injected logos are fading away. The stitching is fraying or loosening up around here in the ergo lace material there, and then just the over-engineered design of the wrist compartment of the glove, or the wrist area of the glove, is just, I think it's a little bit too much, and that you're going to lose some quality there just because it might have been an overthought design, in my opinion. Would I recommend these gloves? I know I said a lot of bad about these gloves, but I think they are a beneficial glove and they are a nice glove. I would spend $160 on these gloves if you were trying to get out of a lower echelon glove range, or you just wanted if you're a fan of more of a pillowy, spacious glove. If you have a pillowy or spacious glove preference, I think these are a really nice glove. And for the price, $160, it's definitely a glove I'd grab. Hope you guys liked the review, and if you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll have a bunch more reviews coming up shortly. Give me time though, because like I said, these take about 9 minutes to do a review, if not longer, and I only have a limited amount of gloves at the moment. I'll be reviewing the Fly Super Lace X gloves after these, and then I'll be reviewing some the Rival RHG FS3 headgear.